Human Capital for National Development welcomes 118 sponsors, paid 57 and 30 euros for undelivered African Games training. Government backs power grab constitutional reform, story on page 10. Star Oil collects 1.81 billion cedis in fuel taxes in 6 months. The back page, that's Star Oil story. Still the Telecel Ghana Mahiti promo to create 3 millionaires. Okay, 1 million cedis. Where did I drop my Telecel SIM? 1 million in cedis. Well, it's not $1 million in dollars, but it's $1 million nonetheless. And it's not bad. Africa prosperity depends on shared economic growth. Mupita. Ralph Mupita is MTN Group President and CEO. I'm going to swing you straight up into the online portals this morning as well. Government announces week-long activities to commemorate August 2025 helicopter disaster. Vanessa Banini wins Top Intern Season 3. 11 pupils hospitalized after their school bus crashed on N1 highway. Government assures parents of full medical support. Government accepts CRC's recommendation to move presidential election to November. Changing trends in human trafficking requires a change in law enforcement response, CID board. MyJoyOnline.com. Fuel prices set for sharp rise from August 1 as crude oil surge, 3D weakness bite. Requiem mass held for Ambassador Gbeho. Archbishop of Canterbury committed to £100 million slavery fund while on Cape Coast Castle tour. Government announces week-long national tribute to departed 8 of helicopter crash. Ghana's cocoa production is expected to fall 16% next season. Felix Kwachiofosu rejects claims government influenced Sedina Tamakloe acquittal, and vote buying remains a concern among voters ahead of Joy News Democracy is Not for Sale forum. Ghana's cocoa production expected to fall by 16% next season. That's on City Newsroom. Government spent 36 billion cedis importing chicken, rice, and sugar in 2025. Macroeconomic stability alone is not economic transformation. Professor Buck. Government announces activities to mark first anniversary of 2025 helicopter crash. Constitution review for the Blake question silence on indemnity clause. Would he have died if he had power? Video of Chris Wasafo members spark debates online. That's on Ghana Web. Parliament to reconsider anti-LGBTQ plus bill before recess. Key clauses to be amended. That's according to the Speaker of Parliament. Attorney General Dr. Dominic Ayine challenges acquittal of Sedina Tamakloe at the Supreme Court. Sedina Tamakloe's acquittal defies law, logic, and common sense. The NPP is saying this. NDC could suffer NPP's fate if it fails to learn. Asha Ayisi on S. Maslock CEO saga. Here's a quick leaning in on a bit more in terms of what the Attorney General had to say at the Constitutional Review Committee when he announced government's position on the report and recommendations and what they expect to do in the coming days.
Afternoon to speak to the sovereign people of Ghana. Recommendations of the committee. 3FM. But as the minister has indicated, before I delve into the substance of the recommendations and what government the position that government has taken, this morning the Court of Appeal issued a decision unanimously acquitting and discharging Sedina Tamakloe, who was convicted of various offenses in absentia because, she was standing trial, and in the course of the trial, she sought permission to travel abroad for medical reasons and then remain in the United States for the rest of the trial. The trial court convicted her of the offenses charged, and then an appeal was filed by her lawyers in May 2024. I want this to be made abundantly clear that it was my predecessor who filed the appeal. However, coming into office, I reviewed what was filed, and I directed the Director of Public Prosecutions to file opposing the appeal, because we believe that the High Court judgment had merit. Now, with this judgment, I've also directed the Director of Public Prosecutions to file a notice of appeal and apply for stay of execution, meaning that if the stay is granted, the status quo will prevail until such a time that the Supreme Court has had time to review the appeal and then made a determination. So that is all that I can say for now. I have a soft copy of the judgment. I'm yet to peruse it and then come to a firm conclusion as to what will be our grounds of appeal. But I want to emphasize that I believe that the judgment of the High Court had merit, and that the United States District Court that extradited her to Ghana had a basis for making a determination that she was the proper subject for extradition. And that is all that I will say for now. Now to the main business of the day, which is the government position on the final recommendations of the Constitution Review Committee. Now, you will recall that on January 19th, 2025, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama appointed an 8-member committee chaired by Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh to undertake a comprehensive review of the 1992 Constitution. The committee was inaugurated on January 30th, 2025, and thereafter went straight to work on the task that the President had assigned to it. Over the course of nearly 1 year, the committee did a number of things. First, it organized 10 thematic stakeholder engagements involving over 500 experts and practitioners in law and governance. It held engagements with identifiable groups reaching over 21,500 people. It consulted 11 eminent persons, including former president and, of course, the current president of the Republic, who were closely involved in constitutional developments in the country. And then lastly, it received and reviewed 785 written submissions from members of the public. On December 22nd, 2025, the committee presented a summary of its recommendations to the President of the Republic. Subsequently, on February 10th, 2026, the committee submitted its full report containing the final recommendations. Those recommendations are the subject of today's press conference or press briefing. The report is titled Transforming Ghana from Electoral Democracy to a Developmental Democracy. The report is very comprehensive, well-researched, and reflects the consultative approach adopted by the committee in accordance with its terms of reference. It contains 147 proposals for amendment of the Constitution and about 59 proposals which are entirely new provisions, bringing the total proposed amendments to 206. On behalf of the government of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I wish to thank Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh and the eminent members of his committee, as well as the Secretariat of the committee, for the excellent work done for our dear country and its citizens. Their names will forever be etched with indelible ink in the annals of Ghanaian history. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, and my fellow countrymen and women, I wish to make it clear from the outset that this is not a government white paper. The reason is that the work of the committee was not, technically speaking, the work of a commission of inquiry pursuant to Chapter 23 of the Constitution of the Republic. If that were the case, government would have had a constitutional obligation to either publish the report of the commission of inquiry together with a white paper, or give reasons why it would not publish the report of the commission or committee of inquiry. The position of government in respect of the recommendations of the committee is formulated in three ways. One, either we are accepting, that is, government is accepting, or two, it is accepting in principle subject to modification, or three, it is rejecting outright the recommendation of the committee. Where government accepts the recommendation of the committee in principle, that is subject to modification, we provide reasons why we seek to modify the recommendations. Reasons are also accorded where government does not accept the recommendations of the committee. In formulating the position on the final recommendations of the committee, government examined each recommendation against the relevant provisions of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana to assess the nature, scope, and implications of the proposed amendment. Each recommendation was then subjected to rigorous constitutional analysis. The third element opens the door of our legislature wider to those our politics has historically kept on the outside. The government has also accepted a recommendation on dual citizenship. A citizen of Ghana by birth who holds the citizenship of another country will no longer be barred from contesting for election to parliament only on account of his or her dual citizenship, and will not be required to renounce the other citizenship. The current disqualification sits uneasily with our engagement with the diaspora and with the realities of modern citizenship. In line with this proposal, it is also the case that multiple citizenship will no longer disqualify a person from becoming, from holding certain, offices, except that of President and Vice President of the Republic. So the fact that you have multiple citizenship will not bar you from becoming Chief Justice of the Republic or becoming the head of the Electoral Commission or, for instance, becoming Speaker of Parliament. On to the judiciary. Regarding the judiciary, two positions deserve mention. First, the government supports a fixed tenure for the Chief Justice. That is a single, non-renewable term of 10 years or until the age of retirement, which currently, whichever occurs first. And the age of retirement of justices of the Supreme Court now is 70 years. So if these amendments come into force and a person is appointed Chief Justice, that person will serve a 10-year non-renewable term. However, if the person's retirement comes first, the retirement will take place and the person will have to exit as a Chief Justice of the Republic. The second thing that I want us to note about the judiciary is that the government supports capping the Supreme Court's membership. Currently, the committee recommended a cap of 15 justices. The government proposes 19. That is the Chief Justice and 18 justices of the Supreme Court. Now, this cap promotes efficiency, manages public expenditure, while the bench of 19 remains sufficiently robust to discharge the court's constitutional mandate. On political parties, the committee recommended an amendment to Article 55 to require every registered political party to afford its members in good standing equal voting rights in the selection of its parliamentary and presidential candidates. The government has accepted this recommendation. Just yesterday, as you recall, the Supreme Court, in the case of Professor Frimpong Boateng and others versus MPP, NDC and others, held that all registered members of political parties should be allowed to take part in their internal election to select the presidential candidate as well as the parliamentary candidates.
That's the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine. And good mornings as well to Johnny Hughes.
My brother.
Trust that all is well.
Charlie greater than Accra. As always.
Fantastic.
As always.
On
Dr.
this,
Dominic
Ayine.
Great guy.
On this Constitutional Review Committee, Elvis Daku himself writes
on New Center.
Yes, on page 6, 7, and 8.
Right.
And the headline is "Government Makes Mockery of CRC Report."
Did government do that?
It says government makes mockery.
That's what Mr. Daku thinks.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hear him.
Elvis Daku. So I'm going to read bits and pieces because obviously it's on the 3 pages of the paper. So on presidency, it says on the presidential succession, the government accepted the recommendation to amend Article 60(8) and 60(11) to ensure that the president or the vice president is not deemed unable to perform presidential functions merely because they are outside Ghana. However, it rejected a proposal to amend Articles 60(11), 12, and 13 to allow Cabinet to elect one of its members to serve as president for a 3-month caretaker period when both the offices of president and vice president become vacant simultaneously. Government argued that although such a situation will be extraordinary, allowing Cabinet to elect an acting president will confer executive authority on someone who had never been elected to that office and therefore lacked democratic legitimacy. On Parliament, it said one recommendation it accepted was an amendment to Article 104, Clause 4, requiring open recorded voting on all legislative and constitutional matters except elections or removal of persons. I'm not seeing the part where he's talking about the mockery. Anti-carpet crossing. The CRC recommended tightening Article 97(1)(g) to ensure members of Parliament who resign from or are expelled by the political parties on whose tickets they were elected automatically lose their seats if they subsequently support another party. Contempt powers retained. Public participation. Okay, let me see if I can get a bit more in terms of details on mockery, right? Because presidential control over police retained. So he makes that executive control over prisons retained, military deployment proposals rejected, human rights obligations rejected. Another rejected proposal sought to impose an explicit constitutional obligation on the IGP to ensure that policing always complies with human rights, legality, and proportionality principles. Government rejected that recommendation. Similarly, it declined amendments that will constitutionally define the Ghana Police Service as the country's primary civilian law enforcement institution and require the state to adequately equip and resource the service. Media reforms as well. Elvis Daku writes that it was rejected. Periodic constitutional review as well was rejected. And new amendment category rejected. Independent security oversight also rejected. Right. Fiscal decentralization rejected. Local government reforms rejected. State-owned enterprises, amongst others. Let me come to you, perhaps on this reform, the government position first on the Constitutional Review Committee and the work which was done.
I have been thinking, what does the ordinary man think about this government's position on the CRC's report, the Constitutional Review Committee's report? That's the first one.
3FM,
the second one is
92.7.
If they go ahead and think, is this the best thought they could have had regarding what could be made better about our constitution, which could then strengthen our democracy? That's the second one. The third one is, if we make our constitution strong enough and our democracy firm enough, are we able then to get everybody to tag along a certain line so that everybody could be not saying say yechua if you are doing something wrong, say yechua, but rather say udi adien udi guwa mechua. You get a point. Now, what it has become is we have become a country where we look at issues, we look at situations, we look at circumstances, happenings, and we decide that, somebody from somewhere who doesn't necessarily live in the community or who has been close to a certain power has to come and do those things. And that has been our biggest bane. It hurts us. We know it is problematic. We know it is not proper. Look, if the thing is evil and the thing is bad, it is photophobia or photophobic. You have to expose it for it to die. But until the time when we as citizens, the law can be there in black and white, until we as citizens have decided that we will go ahead and expose these things, it will not happen. Now, a classical case in point is Sedina Tamakloe's, what do you call it? Her appeal thing that there's appeal, Court of Appeal said that, she's free to walk, she's been acquitted and discharged. There are many who believe that should not have happened in the first instance, right? What does the Constitution say? What does the Criminal and Other Offences Act at 29 or at 29? What does it say? Right? All these things come together to form what is in the Constitution. The Constitutional Review Committee has also spoken about the fact that, we need X number of judges as a cap for the Supreme Court. 20, they say, right? 14. Sorry, 14, they say. Now, yesterday you heard lawyer BBB, right? Bediako Bedu of Akwetia said that, we need at least 14. So he said 20. And then the CRC report says
15. The government says 19, inclusive of the Chief Justice.
Good. Now, Lawyer Bediako made a very fantastic point. He said, look, at least we need a pair of 9 times 9, which is what? 18. Right? Or 9 times 2, which is 18, not 9 by 9. Because 9 by 9 will be 81. 9 times 2, which will be 18. Now, how do we go forward? Because we know the load of work that comes to them, that. But if you go into the nook and cranny of this country, people are looking for the Constitution to be reworked. Article 71 holders. All those conversations, they are there in the public. People say, me sure that they me tell that they me Collie and I mean tell that they me shakopa. King be now 20 cities. Many of minister be and all be no in 4 years the person has a V8, the person has this, the person has that. They complain about that. They complain about those things. So if we are amending the Constitution, we have to amend the Constitution so it appeals to the general majority of the people and not just for a select few. That's my view.
92.7. On some of the recommendations, right? So the presidential age has been, according to what government says they want to proceed with, it's been moved from 40 to 35. The CRC had recommended...
That means Phil and I can be presidents if we decide to. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The CRC had recommended 30 years that it be removed or reduced.
Our life begins at 40.
Reduced from 40 to 30 years. Right? And also, the presidential term limit be increased from 4 to 5 years. It will not take effect with the current president.
Right.
So that's one of the many things that we must disabuse our minds from. So from 40 to 35, from 4 to 5 years, and elections will be held in November instead of December to allow for a bit more room for transition. Let us know what you think, particularly on those 3 headlines that I mentioned. 053-220-0927. 053-220-0927. The presidential term limit has been moved, or it's not been done yet, right? The proposal is for it to be moved from 4 to 5. Obviously, we'll go through other processes, a referendum and other things will be required to proceed. Not all of the recommendations will require a referendum, by the way. Let us know what you think. Then the age limit has been slashed from 40 to 35. 40 to 35 as well. Let us know what you think, and then we are likely to see elections be held in November instead of December, depending on how things proceed with the recommendations on presidential immunity. Right? The committee recommended that Article 57(6) be amended to allow civil proceedings against a person for actions done before or during the person's tenure as president to be instituted at any time, subject to applicable statute of limitations. The committee also recommended that the provision be amended to allow criminal proceedings to be instituted against a former president within 4 years after leaving office for any act or omissions that occurred before or during the presidential term. Interestingly, that was rejected. Right? The government rejects the recommendation. Article 57(6), as it currently stands, does not confer permanent immunity. It only suspends civil and criminal proceedings during the president's tenure. Once a president leaves office, the president may be sued or prosecuted for acts done before or during the presidency. The existing framework strikes an appropriate balance between the need to protect the office of the president from vexatious litigation or prosecution during the term of president and the principle that no person is above the law.
Indeed. You have, do you know who I am? Do you know what I represent? Do you know where I work? Powers from above, order from above, all those things come into the conversation. I think that sometimes it is also not really about the change in the diction in the Constitution, but it is also about the people who have the wherewithal to be able to say that I have been clothed with the authority to maintain or push forward the agenda of the Constitution, and I will stick to what I have been told to do. That's where the problem is. Many people have the role and responsibility to, how are people able to offend traffic regulations and then they are able to drive through and police stops them and they find no curfew for police and they walk away. How is that? Is that what the Constitution stipulates? Is that what the laws, the various acts, is that what they stipulate? That's not what they stipulate. How are people able to ignore, for example, what's happening at the Crowell municipality? There's a particular case in point where people are setting up a gas station, LPG station, liquefied petroleum gas station, right there. There was one that was there. Assembly came to write on it. They have exited. There's another that is supposed to be coming up, and people are living in constant fear, and they are not sure because you are setting up a bomb right in their compound house, right? You're laughing at me. You are setting up a bomb.
Describe it as a bomb.
Yeah, it's a bomb. I mean, I have my gas at home. I turn it on. I want to boil small rice or yam or cocoyam or whatever it is that I want to boil, or spaghetti, whatever it is. I turn it on. This other LPG station is already leaking. I turn it on. I have given it fire to explode. It's a bomb, right? Now, what is the Assembly doing about it? What is the MCE doing about it? What is the EPA doing about it? What is the Fire Service doing about it? What is the police doing about it? What is National Security doing about it? All these things are shrouded in law. But does the law really work? So we can spend money. We've seen Professor Fiajo's report before, right? It gathered dust and moss and we left it. Now we have come to H. Kwesi Prempeh, right? Is it going to work? Government has finally issued a white paper. In fact, the Professor Fiajo report did not get any white paper on it to begin with. Now we have Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh's report that has been given a white paper. But when is the implementation going to happen? Some of the clauses that they are touching, or some of the provisions in the Constitution that are being touched, are entrenched provisions in the Constitution, right? Which will require a referendum. Referendum cannot happen under 6 months. Referendum can happen like maybe a year, 2, I don't know if you were around at the time and had reached the age of consciousness. Referendum time, you have to exercise your power as a citizen, for your vote is your power. You have to vote as a citizen. It was a song where everybody, when we could sing it as children back in the day. We have to go through that process all over again. Then you ask yourself, your National Commission on Civic Education, NCC, how well are they funded to be able to do this public education?
Maybe when the time comes.
In your communities, when the time comes, you will be that. In your communities, you have community centers that used to have cone speakers, right? How many of them are well and able?
Are those not private community centers?
No.
Because the ones I see...
Information Services Department, ISD. When Dr. Mustafa Hamid came, he said, I'm going to...
The ones I've seen, they were not Information Service Department.
I am saying
related.
that Dr. Mustafa Hamid, when he came as Minister for Information, the first term of Nana Duranko Akufo-Addo, he said, and I take him serious because he's an Islamic cleric and he's also a PhD holder. So when he speaks, he carries a lot of weight. He said that, when I become Minister for Information at his vetting, he said it as a vetting table. Anybody can go and watch the interview and check. He said, when I come, ISD will be retooled. The last time he left, ISD had 5 cars. Five vehicles to manage 260-something districts, right? Now, the community centers that we have,
92.7.
they're supposed to have cone speakers that will announce in community. And DJ, for you know this, in the various communities, you go, sometimes there's a community center. Abiam will know there's a Bree, go to all those places. They are there. How well and good are they? Who is even making the announcement? Is the person properly educated to make the announcement so that people in those villages could hear? That's the other one. Then we are going to vote in a referendum, right? How prepared is the Electoral Commission for this? So a lot of work has to go into this thing for people to be able to know that this is what has been given to me, this is my role that I have to play, and this is how I want to play the role. It's not about pushing papers and making press no. It goes way beyond that. Way beyond that.
Right. Let us know what you think, right, in relation to these recommendations. 053-220-0927. On Facebook as well, I see a number of messages, or at least Kojo Fiagbe sent a message, and that's in relation to Sedina Tamakloe's acquittal and discharge yesterday by the Court of Appeal. It's come with quite the reaction, particularly yesterday when we were on air together, and you, in fact, had the sole privilege to break the news when we began picking it up from our court correspondent. We actually engaged him as well. We saw a bit more in terms of reaction. Now we've seen the full judgment, 94-page of the Court of Appeal. Does it begin to answer some of the perception questions, right, as to how much of a convenience this is, how this doesn't look good for the optics, how all of this kills the fight against corruption and all of that for you? I mean,
now you put me in a tight corner.
It's an opinion fist.
I don't have an opinion.
You don't have an opinion?
I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion.
Well, perhaps I'll proceed, right?
I'll come through.
At the heart of this is questions about what some would describe as technicalities. Right. Charge sheets being defective and theoretical argument as to whether or not the burden was properly discharged by the prosecution. If you speak to lawyers and you have lawyer friends, they will make the argument as to negative averments, and whether negative averments are to be proven by
the prosecution,
by the prosecution, or whether the accused will have to displace that burden when a negative averment should come about.
Show their heads.
Yes, all of these are theoretical arguments that will proceed. I've had a few lawyer friends, some lecturers who've shared opinions with me in relation to it. The basics they suggest is that the reasoning is sound. Another also makes the argument and says that, look, there will always be a reason which the court can find to justify a decision which is being made. Because even on the argument of negative averment, there are Supreme Court decisions which are for and against. I haven't had the privilege of reading those decisions. But when all of the theoretical argument is done and dusted, the questions which remain is that some monies have gone missing from public coffers. Whether Sedina Tamakloe was guilty or not will continue to be a subject matter of conversation on theoretical argument as to what should be and what must be, what ought to be, what ought not to be. But in the end, the coffers of the state has lost money. In, for example, 500,000 cedis, which was given as loan to an entity, we cannot find where the money is because as Maslow continued to write and Sedina continued to sign the letters asking for the repayment, it suggested the money was stored in the coffers of Maslow. Where is the 500,000?
You see, the other leg of the conversation is this. We jailed Sedina Tamakloe. She's been given a free flight from Nevada all the way to Kewuse Navrongo and finally in Soam, and then now she walks free. The Attorney General has indicated that it is going to appeal this decision of the Court of Appeal, right?
Yeah.
But then at the heart of it, we must also ask how much was spent in trying to cage one person and how much was spent in trying to retrieve what is supposed to have been lost. This was done by a private, audit firm, right? Under Mr. Stephen Amwa at the time, now Dr. Stephen Amwa as Maslow head, right? Now, he was Deputy Minister for Finance, so he knows the value of money and time value of money put together. We are not talking about how much the state spent in trying to look for the money that we said has been lost. We are also not finding out whether the money was retrieved or not. We are also not finding out whether jailing Sedina Tamakloe could have brought us back the money that we're looking for. We are also not asking the question as to whether Dr. Stephen Amwa made a prudent decision with his management and his board to be able to come to a certain conclusion that says, let's go after her. What happened to plea bargain? Because it's part of our laws, right? So was it just to see somebody behind bars and all the monies that were supposed to have been spent? Conferences were said to have been held.
Sensitization program.
Were they held? Who was there? Who confirmed that they had been held? Who participated? All those things. So if there's evidence to prove that those things didn't happen, it means the money is somewhere. Now we spend money. We're just 2 million, right?
Yeah.
2 million.
2 million.
How much did we spend to do the audit? How much did Stephen Amwa spend to do the audit? Through that private audit firm. Who owns the private audit firm? The basic questions. Because the appeal court says that, the Court of Appeal says that, you shouldn't have brought this lady here in the first place. Because you don't have what it takes to actually hold her before the law.
Yeah. So in that instance of the sensitization program, the Court of Appeal says that Iyoko, who carried out the investigations, when it was time to prosecute, did not bring the persons before the court to testify. It was all strictly hearsay, which was put before the court, and it wasn't proven beyond reasonable doubt, amongst others.
When Stephen Amwa, Ifia Akoto, and the rest were at Maslow, right? Chief Baine's former wife, Ifia Akoto, when they were at Maslow, they were there. They were the ones who instituted the action against Sedina Tamakloe, right? When they went there, and they decided that, some monies had been spent which ought not to have been spent, right? What did they do? They instituted a private audit. So you take over from me, Marina. Marina, you take over from me as Maslow boss.
I realize there are monies which are not.
So, sorry. John Hughes has spent monies that he's not supposed to be spending. Okay. Philip is a private audit person. Can we bring Philip in to come? Then you bring Philip in. You are looking for 2 million that is lost, right? And then you spend almost 2 million to try and look for 2 million. Does it make sense to you? In the first instance, you are looking for 2 million that is lost, and you use almost 2 million to look for 2 million. Does it make sense to you? That's the first question we have to ask ourselves before, because people are riding on emotions. So let's go on that tangent. You are looking for 2 million, and you spend almost 2 million to look for 2 million. Everything correct? Everything okay? Okay. Now, in finding the 2 million with almost 2 million, were you able to find the 2 million? Or were you just interested in caging somebody and disgracing somebody? If the 2 million really is there and the person is supposed to have spent it on what they didn't spend it on, or how they didn't spend it, or whatever reason, find our 2 million and give to us. That's what the ordinary Joe on the street is looking for. Now, Court of Appeal, High Court, blah, 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 Attorney General says we will appeal.
92.
Sikalu Ohi. That's what we are looking for. Sikalu Ewahi. That's all the people are asking. Where is our money?
Absolutely. It's a question. A number of comments have come through. I'll start with Fiajo on Facebook, right? It says this whole Kojo Fiagbe, not Fiajo, Kojo Fiagbe on Facebook. It says this whole Court of Appeal judgment seems highly political from the angle of the bench. The appellate court judges intentionally made the pronouncement to trigger anger against the ruling. At the court of common sense, Madam Sedina Tamakloe should have stayed and proven her innocence from day one. Musa Ali Kone from Wa says that I am extremely surprised at the NPP as regards their position on this Sedinam issue. If Sedinam was freed by the appeals court, it simply means that Wontumi needs to also seek some help from the same court. But to say that because Sedinam has been released by the appeals court and so Wontumi should be released is a deficit in every aspect of reasoning. This one from Ben in New Achimota says, good morning to the entire team. Johnny, what the ordinary man will think is this. Imagine having Akufo-Addo as your president and his horrible governance for 10 years. Are we safe as Ghanaians? It is looking like politicians can commit crime, and when their party come to power, they are set to walk freely. Or will it be rational for this current AG and the convicted person to review the prosecution of the former AG who was caught on tape doing a criminal act? Time is ticking. That's Ben from New Achimota. This one from Bright K. Dravi says that, Mawina, good morning. When do all these constitutional amendments take effect? No aspect of these amendments benefit an ordinary person who queues to vote to give power to all these people. Mawina, this is dangerous for Ghana. Good morning. This constitutional amendment is going to make powerful people more powerful and powerless more powerless in our society. Ghana, he returns to right. So let us know what you think, right, of all of these matters. 053-220-0927. 053-220-0927. I'm going to read one more in terms of an opinion. It's by a private legal practitioner and a law lecturer. Sent this one in. Says, I went through the judgment this evening after reading the judgment objectively. Three main reasons amounted for acquittal. One, the prosecution. For two main reasons. The prosecution drafted 34 defective charges, all of which breached the fundamental right of the accused pursuant to Article 19. Woeful particulars of the various charges. I just couldn't believe my eyes. Two, the prosecution honestly didn't establish anything at all. It was as if they were in a hurry to secure a conviction. The state failed to call material witnesses to corroborate or establish their case. Maybe they were misled by her absence and took the whole process for granted. Two, Iyoko did an extremely terrible job. most of the matters they testified to were hearsay. They didn't conduct any investigations into material matters. 3. Justice Sewa Saribotri. She erroneously shifted burden onto the accused to prove matters which she had denied, and most importantly, which were not proved beyond reasonable doubt by the prosecution. In fact, there were instances where the prosecution witness made unequivocal admissions which endured to the benefit of the accused persons, yet she ignored all of them. She, in essence, was asking the accused persons to prove the negative, and she did same thing with Ato Forson case and was later overturned by the Court of Appeal. As for this one, I have little to say to challenge the judgment, he says. And those are a bit more in terms of details, right, to the ruling of the Court of Appeal in relation to the matter. We have an all-important conversation for you right now. It's 25 to the top of the hour, and we're talking kidney-related matters and kidney guard, right? I can say I've been joined in studio by Amos and Sandra, who are Masters of Development Communication students at the University of Media Studies, Unimac. Yeah.
Our GIG.
Our GIG, actually, because yes.
But it's okay. It's okay.
Amos and Sandra.
So they are doing health communication, right?
Yes. Development communication. No, but there's health communication. We did health communication. First degree, there was an entire program dedicated
to. The doctor from Kwabre.
Ladies and
Is
gentlemen.
Is the same person teaching you?
No, please.
No, get to the mic. Get closer
To the microphone, yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same person.
You have to speak boldly into the microphone.
Okay, it's not the same person. Honestly, this semester, we are not even doing health communication.
Okay. So why have you come here?
Okay, so...
Get closer to the microphone. Okay. Move your chair forward. Don't be scared of it.
I'm scared. So the course for this semester is communication for social change.
Right.
Yeah, and so when we think about development, mostly we think about the economic key indicators like infrastructure, GDP, and the rest. But this particular course seems to focus on the social aspects of development. And so that's the reason why we are here today to talk about this initiative.
And why would you think that this is very important? Because you think a lot of people are doing things that are injuring their kidneys?
Thank you.
We're not talking about the kidneys that are sold on the kebab stand.
Yeah.
We're talking about human kidneys.
Yeah. Yes, all right. Good morning, Johnny and Mawena. We are very thankful for having us in the studio. So we, as a 7-member group of offering development communication, chose to work on kidney.
We are not offering. You are pursuing.
Pursuing, thank you. Thank you for that. So, pursuing development communication, this semester we decided to project the kidney guard that we've been thinking of for some time now, because we have noticed that kidney disease is becoming very prevalent in the society, and then there seems to be a little done about the entire kidney health thing. Yeah, so that is why we decided to educate the public on what to do, because the kidney we understand is one major organ in the body that once it becomes defective, the whole body falls into shambles.
What does the kidney do? All
right, so to the layman's understanding, the kidney is the basic filter of the body. It filters all waste out of the body. So once let me just use the colander for example. Once it gets clogged, automatically the whole body becomes unwell.
Now let's talk about how the kidney gets clotted. You tell me about it, Don.
Okay, so that can happen in various ways. Yeah, so before I even say anything, we would like to say that we are not health experts, but then we've been...
You have said plenty things before, so go ahead.
Yeah, but then this can happen as a result of many things. The body is always accumulating things in the body. When we take in too much sugar and then high blood pressure, unhealthy lifestyle, if you are not active or moving, these are all things that stress the kidney. And when the kidney gets stressed, it's unable to filter all this waste out of your body.
Right. So you're on a campaign called the Kidney Guard. What is this campaign about, and what are you seeking to do? Because I think it's looking at behavioral changes to have persons protect their kidneys more. So talk to us a bit more about that.
Okay, so our campaign is simply an awareness campaign. We want to create awareness on kidney health, especially prevention and early diagnosis. And we also want to promote healthy lifestyle changes. And so we've been doing this with the support of medical experts, because we don't want to put information out there that isn't true. So we've been doing this awareness campaign. We've been doing social media, community engagement. We've had support from our very own Bella Moody, who lent her voice during this campaign, and we have massive support.
So which communities have you been to? No, you tell me.
Okay, so one major community engagement we did was at
now mark your script now.
It was at Makola Rollins Park, where we had one-on-one talks with the sellers, the market women. And what we did was that we tried to know their understanding of kidney health, what they know about kidney health. And to our surprise, most people do not even know what the kidney does in the body. So we gave them education tips on what the kidney does, what they should do to protect the kidneys, and the symptoms they should look out for when the signs of kidney disease. Basically, that's what we did. And we also did one at the streets of Wager, where we engage with passerbys and give them the same educational tips on kidney health.
Now let's talk about your friends and the people you know and see on campus and around many social activities where they are shishaing their lives away. Does it affect the kidneys, sir?
Yes, it does.
How does it do?
Because the kidney is built, or let me say, it has a specific function to perform, right? Now, whenever toxic substances get into the body, it becomes extra load for the kidney to filter.
Right.
So in the long run, the kidney gets worn out and then it starts malfunctioning. So shisha is a drug.
Right.
Let me see. Even painkillers. You know, we have done this
19 sticks of cigarette in one shisha.
Yeah.
Puff.
Yeah. And then painkillers as well. You know, Ghanaians, we are used to self-medication and then taking painkillers. Once a person is unwell, they go for painkillers. Painkillers, though they are drugs, medicines that can give us relief, they can, in the long run, affect our kidneys.
So would you consider this kidney situation as a pandemic, epidemic, or an endemic situation? And there are calculations to that, you know that?
Yeah. You see, to some extent, let me focus on the mining communities. Okay. So, you know, with the Galamsey site, or let me say the mining communities.
No, you have not answered my question. You are explaining my question to me. Is it a pandemic, epidemic, or an endemic situation? And there are calculations to it.
Yeah, so
from a health perspective.
Yes. So actually, I can't give you exact figures.
Okay.
All right. But then I know it is very prevalent in the mining areas.
Right. And why is that?
Because of the chemicals they use in these areas. Yeah.
I don't understand.
You know, in the mining communities, there are a lot of chemicals like the cyanide and all those they use in blasting. One way or the other, once it's their water and food substances, food gets contaminated, they take them in and it becomes hazardous to their kidneys.
Yeah. You wanted to add on to that?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Well, as to whether it's a pandemic or not, we can't tell. Epidemic or not, we can't tell. But one thing for sure, we know that before this initiative, we did the research, and so we realized that the numbers, the cases of kidney disease being recorded is high. As
where did you research?
Oh, this is confidential, but from the data...
No, you're not going to mention names. Where did you research?
From the Ghana Health Service database.
The demographic and health survey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I got that
which is calculated every 10 years.
Yeah.
So which version did you pay attention
this
to?
one is the annual one that the health service users work with.
Okay.
They do annual evaluation.
And drawn from which hospitals, please?
With that, I can't mention because it's from a very confidential source. This information is...
You're not mentioning names. My listeners want to know.
Yeah, this is from this database is for all health workers.
Okay.
I think they have a database that all health workers use in all hospitals. So this particular one is not coming from just one hospital. It's cases that has been recorded from all hospitals across the regions in the country. Yeah, so as of last year, they've recorded 31,500 cases of...
and when was this report published?
As to whether it has been published, we can't tell, but we did this research because we don't want to use online sources, so we want to get the real data.
As in real numbers
Did you also find out how many dialysis machines, for example, that we have as a country, if we're mentioning 35,000 new cases over a year?
Well, our campaign is focused on prevention and early diagnosis, so we didn't really look at that aspect because we don't even want the people to get to a state where they...
Beyond the 35,000, you don't want any more people to...
So
you're focused on prevention.
Yes, early detention, yes.
All right, so to your question about the dialysis machines. Yeah, so I interacted with a health practitioner because I took my cousin to the dialysis center.
Right.
He's even late now.
Oh, so, bless his soul.
He's late. So I interacted with this health personnel, and this lady was feeling very reluctant to give me numbers. I don't know if it will have implications on her career or not. But then she was bold enough to tell me that they don't have enough. Yes. And from what I witnessed at the dialysis center myself, I don't think it's enough. Because
when the dialysis conversation came up at Kolebu under the former CEO, I took trouble to take about 60 people through the tests, brought receipts, 12-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 35, 28, different age ranges. And Kolebu insisted that, we had not increased the rates. Kwamna Binta now Minister for Health, was at, I think at the time,
he was ranking on the
health committee. He went there and ascertained, and they had to, reverse the trend. It was 380 Ghana cedis at the time approved, then shot up to about 700 and something Ghana cedis. I paid for it personally for people to go through. Then I showed the receipt here on the screen behind you. So I'm very conversant of the conversation. People have to queue from 4 a.m. Stay there for the whole day, wasted day, before they could get maybe 2 hours or 1 hour on the dialysis machine for their blood to be. So take care of your kidney. But what can we eat to make sure that our kidneys stay healthy? What have you learned?
Well, with that, during the whole initiative, we advise, because we don't have expertise when it comes to
but
diet.
you have been told something.
Yes, we have been told
what
something.
Have you been told?
So we had to stay away from fast food. There was this trend of rapid
check and all those.
The loaded fries, the shawarmas.
Oh, loaded fries too.
Yeah.
Oh no! I'm not.
Loaded fries.
Lord Amwate will not be happy with it. Loaded fries. He likes loaded fries and pizza and all those things.
Those are all the junks that we are not to stay away from them completely. But I think moderation is key.
Okay.
People tend to feed on these things daily.
Right.
Without any healthy options. Those are all junk food that we should try to limit the consumption.
How much water should you be consuming in a day so you make sure that your kidneys are healthy every way?
At least you advise to take 3 liters. That's the least.
3 liters.
3 liters per day.
So like 6 sachets of pure water. That's 3 liters.
3 liters.
Okay. If you can afford the bottled water too, it's better.
That's fine.
Must you exercise?
Yes, very important. The body in general needs exercise. Okay, not excessive exercise, but then it's something that
should you go to the gym, or can you run on your own? Can you jog on your own?
You can run on your own.
Push-ups. What?
Yes, you can do push-ups. I do push-ups every morning.
Okay.
Yes. So I hardly go to the gym. I don't really have time for that. So
You don't want to go to the gym.
I think you don't really have to go to the gym. I think one of the exercises we undermine so much is just walking. If you take few walks, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it does a lot of good to the body.
Right.
Yeah, so even if you can't go to the gym, if you can't do heavy lifting and all of that, simple walks, keeping it helps the body.
Just keep walking.
Yeah.
You'll be walking without nobody chasing you.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you know, sometimes when we talk about exercise too, people tend to do more than what the body can carry. And then it also starts giving them health. It starts giving them health implications. So please, in moderation.
That's it.
It's fine.
How long is this campaign going to continue?
Okay, so academic-wise, we are supposed to run this within a space of 55 days. Okay. But as a group or as a team, we intend to carry this to the next level.
Or you want to follow through with it?
Yeah, and then God being so good, we've had a foundation like the Meboafo Foundation. Meboafo Foundation. Yeah.
Right.
So good morning to Dr. Emmanuel Ubri, whoever he is. He's the founder.
Dr. Emmanuel Ubri. Great guy.
Yeah.
You should speak to Dr. Banga as well at the HEFRA. He's a kidney nephrologist specialist. Right. You should speak to him.
Yeah, so we are still in the process of making contacts, meeting with major stakeholders in the health sector.
A lot of people are willing to support this initiative. Medical experts, NGOs, even some individuals on our socials. We've had people asking how they can be part of this initiative.
Right.
And so from all of this, we want to take it to the next level. It's not going to be just an academic stimulation. We want to take it further, even after school.
Who gave you the assignment? Dr. Odu.
Dr. Daniel Odu.
Dr. Anka Odu.
Yeah.
Okay.
A solid lecturer.
Regards to him, Dr. Anka Odu. Yeah. Fantastic gentleman.
Right.
Are your kidneys safe?
Well,
you have not checked.
I have checked mine. It's advised that you check from time to time, and at least once a year, just to know that you're safe and you're in good hands.
Each time I've had a broken heart, I've lived on my kidneys.
Because the hearts are not working, right? So Amos and Sandra, thank you very much. Any final words, though, before you leave us, as with regards to this campaign, some of the challenges you may have faced, and I heard you mention you're seeking to take this to the next level and all of that, and all.
Yes.
Let me start Sandra first, and then Amos, you have the final word.
Our final words is we want people to take this, the key messages of our campaign very. They should take it well. The kidney is. Some people may say the heart is the main organ of the body, but we also think the kidney is
up there.
Exactly.
It's up there as one of those.
People should take care of their kidneys well. They should seek medical attention every now and then. They should go for checkups. That's the thing. You don't have to be sick before you go to the hospital. Once in a while, go check your sugar levels, your blood pressure. Do a whole body screening to see if you're okay, so that it doesn't get to the end stages before you'd be running for help. And to speak about the challenges we have, one major challenge we had was getting medical experts on board. Though we've had the support of many people like Dr. Abi, thank you so much for your support, and Dr. Prince, who is a nephrologist. A lot of the media medical practitioners were shy to be on camera to speak on social media regarding the issue. So that's one key challenge we also experience.
Right, Amos.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, one important thing that I want everybody to know is kidney or chronic kidney diseases doesn't have warning signs. They just happen. And then it could be generic. All right? Yeah, so sometimes you might think you are living well, but then there might be traces in your genes. So it is important that everybody gets checked, especially diabetics and then those suffering from high blood pressure. Yeah, so we don't wait for it to start shouting, help me, help me, help me. If you know you have a family member who is diabetic, please take action.
Most certainly. Amos, Sandra, appreciative that you could join us in studio to have this conversation, and I wish you the very best in the line of work that you're engaged in. And all the best as well with school. Very important.
Yeah, thank you too. We are grateful for this opportunity to carry on this initiative and to create awareness.
Fantastic. That's Amos and Sandra, all students of UNIMAC, Development Communication students at UNIMAC, joining us talk campaigns, right, towards kidney disease and how you can prevent, amongst others, kidney disease. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. You usher us kindly into sports, 5 to the top of the hour.